My name is Ian Unger. I am the program manager here at Affirmations, which is an LGBTQ community center in Ferndale, Michigan. I identify as a transgender man and use he, him, his pronouns. I moved here from Wisconsin to actually work here at Affirmations because activism was really important to me. So Affirmations is an open community center for everyone, regardless of identity, regardless of sexual orientation, gender identity, anything. We are here to support the LGBTQ community and its allies. We have support and discussion groups, different programs and events. We have a youth program that's really large. We've got a curriculum-based program for the youth called Leadership and Development. We have a drop-in center. So lots of different things to just help people really feel affirmed for who they are. So Affirmations was founded in 1989 as a helpline, actually, in the founder's basement. So they started out as a way for people to contact and have a resource, but they realized that it needed to grow and become more. So they started their first community center actually right up the street from here in a little small rented basement space. And as it continued to grow, through a capital campaign, they funded this building in 2007, and it was built specifically for Affirmations, and we just continue to grow from there. So for a lot of people, when they first come to Affirmations, they haven't been able to come out. This is their first resource to be able to step into a space where their identity is fully accepted and that they can feel like they're part of a community. So you can start developing that internal sense of pride by feeling just the celebration that the space itself holds. Everything about Affirmations is about being part of the LGBTQ community and feeling like it is an empowering thing and that it's a very good thing. So having a space that just generally is about being out and proud can help other people come in and feel as part of a celebration. It's important to have a safe space because for a lot of individuals, they can't be their full, entire, authentic selves out in the public because there's a lot of different things that keep LGBTQ people from equality and a lot of different hate that just exists. So by having a space like this and having the ability to come into a space and feel affirmed, this sometimes is the only place that a person can be authentic and be actually their full self. So allowing people to have that outlet and be able to meet other people like themselves as well, because it can be very isolating to not know anybody else in this community.
When I first came out, I had been reading about Affirmations from between the lines. I knew about it through Craigslist, and I was scared to death to come in here. After I come out to my ex-wife, I knew that they had a group for married men, and then I posted online, are there other men out there who are married to a woman but gay? And I heard from all over the United States, Latin America, South America, Canada. I also learned from Asia and quite a few from Europe. And I learned that I wasn't the only one that thought he had screwed up. I carried shame with me for a long time. And when I knew about this place, I came in the last Tuesday to what they called the Married Men's Group. And these were all gay people. And the first time I came in the building, the single door at the back, you can kind of come in and not be seen by other people. Because if you're hiding who you are, you don't want to be outed. The front's for people that are proud who they are. And so I come in the back because I park right there. But it was a specially designed building for people like us to come in here. So each time I would come into the building, I felt safe. And safe is a word that when you're living a double life doesn't exist. And so I became very confident. I retired from teaching after 45 years on June of 13, and I started volunteering here in July of 13. I've watched a lot of people. I see people coming in. One that was really funny to me, there was a guy that came in and he wandered around and I'd say, can I do anything for you? And he says, no, I'm just checking it out. And finally he sat down and he just stared at the wall. And I said, so is there anything I could do? He said, no, I'm different. I said, everybody that comes in here seems to be different. And he said, yeah, but I'm married. And I said, so was I. And then he said, I have 2 kids. I said, so do I. And then he said, but I want to be a woman. I said, you got me on that one. And so it's really nice that people can come in here and start their journeys. And the number of different journeys here is amazing.
Pride has helped me teach myself that I can love and support myself, and that there are also people in the world who will help me do that. Because personally, in my home, being in the LGBT community isn't favorable. My parents are both Christians, and they were raised to believe that being homosexual is a sin and that you will go to hell and such. And they aren't very supportive, but they do understand that I need to be happy with myself and live a life, so they allow me to come to Affirmations and be a part of Pride events. Here, I've been able to make good relationships with people from the previous generation and the generation before. It's helped me learn about their experiences in the community and with Pride, and to help me have some perspective. I'm able to share what my experience is like with them in this generation, and how parenting has changed over time and cultures. I feel like in history, a lot more parents were kicking out their children, and people were being homeless for coming out, or being beaten and bullied a lot in school. And in this generation, it's a lot more accepted, but there are still a lot of youth who are homeless or who aren't being treated like they deserve to be themselves. Growing up in Detroit, a lot of the communities aren't the most accepting, but I do have access to places that are. I see a lot of buildings around Ferndale that have flags in their windows, and it makes me feel like I can walk in there and not have to think about being discriminated or singled out.
So community to me means being able to care for one another. Essentially, being a good community member to me is looking out for one another, looking out for your fellow community. So the LGBTQ plus community as a whole, I think, really has a responsibility of looking out for one another. And it relates back to Pride because, that goes back to being yourself and having other community members be themselves. And, if you're struggling, having one of them help you, I think, is essential.